Hello students, welcome back to a new video lecture on Maxwell equation and electromagnetic wave. Today we are going to discuss about Ampere's law. What exactly Ampere's law says? Ampere's law states that line integral of magnetic flux density B over any closed path is equal to mu naught times the net current enclosing the path. I repeat, Ampere's law states that line integral of magnetic flux density B over any closed path is equal to mu naught times the net current enclosing the path. If B is the magnetic field encloses a current I flowing through a straight line conductor in a direction perpendicular plane of closed path, and dl is the vector line element. Okay, dl is a vector line element of the path. Then we can write integral b dl is equal to mu naught I, where integral b dl is line integral of magnetic field for closed path, so that is indicated, that is a closed path. Okay, so let us consider infinitely long wire. Let me consider a wire along z-axis. So let us say the length of the wire is z-axis, carrying a current which carries a current I. So current is flowing in this direction. Okay, the magnetic flux density due to this wire directed anywhere circular to the wire. So if you see current is flowing like this, the magnetic flux density due to this wire is directed anywhere circular to this wire. Wherever you go, this circular. Okay, so somewhere I will consider this. Hope it looks like circle. Okay, circular. So, and its magnitude of the flux depends only on the distance from the wire. As you move away from the wire, that flux changes. Let us consider the circular path. So whatever I have drawn, circular path C of the radius, let us say radius of the r in the plane normal to the wire, center of the circle is at the wire is passing through the center of the circle. The current enclosed by an arbitrary closed path C is given by surface integral of the current density over any surface S bounded by the closed path. So therefore the total current flowing through the surface area S, total current flowing through the surface area S, that is I, is given, that's equal to, given by I is equal to integral J dot ds. Therefore we can write closed integral dot dh dot dl is equal to J dot ds. Of course, H is the vector magnetic field related to magnetic field. Okay, so circular. So this surface is S. Okay, so this what exactly we wrote. We can rewrite this. As closed path B dot dl is equal to mu naught time, because we have changed from H to B, so therefore this is known as Ampere's circuital law. It's known as Ampere's circuital law. So Ampere's circuital law in a differential form can be written as del cross B is equal to mu naught C. So this is a differential form of the Ampere circuital law. Next, let us move on to next topic, that is, already you have seen this in your PU, but again let us discuss that. Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction. Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. The Michael Faraday, he has carried out some experiment. He took a conducting loop and a magnet, and he discovered that a current is induced in a conducting loop whenever magnetic is moved towards or away from the loop. That's the one observation he made. At the same time, current is also induced even when magnet is held stationary and loop is either moved towards or away from the magnet. However, if the both loop and magnet are stationary, no current is induced in the loop. It implies that current is induced in the loop as long as there is a relative motion between magnet and loop. This phenomenon is known as electromagnetic induction. The current produced in the loop is called as induced current. The current induced in the loop is called as induced current, and it produces by an induced EMF. Voltage induced is known as induced EMF. So from this observation, Faraday's made two laws. The first law, Faraday's first law, which says whenever the magnetic flux linked with the circuit changes, an EMF is always induced in it. That's the first law says. There is also formulated second law based on the observation. That second law says the magnitude of the induced EMF is equal to the time rate of change of the flux linkage. So magnitude of the induced EMF is equal to the time rate change of the flux linkage. Thus we can write EMF E is equal to d phi by dt, where phi is the magnetic flux through the surface bounded by the loop. The negative sign indicates that the direction of the induced EMF opposes the change in flux that is responsible for the EMF. So magnitude of the EMF is always opposite to the direction. So it is opposing change in flux in the loop. So next let us move on to equation of continuity. So let us see what exactly equation of continuity. Let us consider a closed surface enclosing a volume V of electric charge distribution. So let us say there is a volume which is enclosed by a surface and which consists of electric charge. The net amount of charge crossing unit area of this area of surface normal to the direction of charge flow in unit time is defined as, of course, current density definition. That is, let us say J. The total electric current I flowing outward surface is given by I is equal to J dot ds. Since charge is conserved, so current flowing means charge is flowing, so charge should be conserved. If it is flowing outward, that means inside the volume charges should decrease. So then at what rate the charge will decrease inside? That depends on again current, that is defined as I is equal to dq by dt. Of course, dq by dt, negative sign indicates charges decreases inside as current flows outside. But of course, q is equal to, charge is defined as rho dV. Therefore, we can write, so above thing you can write it as q, if you substitute, minus d by dt of integral rho dV. Call this as equation 2. So now from equation 1 and 2, we can combine equation 1 and 2. We can write integral J dot ds is equal to minus d by dt of integral rho dV. So I will write left hand side, I'll keep it as such. Right hand side, I will take differential inside the integration, d rho by dt dV. So now I will apply the Gauss divergence theorem inside the integral. So therefore I can write S is equal to integral del dot J to dV. So that is by applying Gauss divergence. So let us substitute this in so by using Gauss divergence theorem. This is according to Gauss divergence theorem. Okay, according to Gauss divergence theorem. Okay, we can write right hand side as J dot ds is equal to integral del dot J dV. So therefore we can substitute this in above, so it will become del dot J divergence of density is equal to minus d rho by dt dV, or del dot J is equal to minus d rho by dt or you can write, taking to the left hand side, plus d rho by dt is equal to 0. So this equation is known as equation of continuity. This is a mathematical expression for the law of conservation of charge. According to this equation, if you carefully observe, total current flowing out of the some volume must be equal to rate of decrease of charge within the volume. So this divergence means current flowing, divergence of current flowing out of the volume must be equal to the rate of decrease of the charge inside the volume. That's what exactly negative sign indicates, decrease in the charge inside the volume. Whenever charge is not moving, then d rho by dt is equal to 0, because inside that density is equal to constant, so therefore charge density is equal to constant, therefore it's equal to 0. And if charge is not moving, automatically del dot j, divergence of current density, is also is equal to 0, therefore there is no outward flux or current density, so current is not moving outward. Next, let us move on to the next topic. Okay, next topic is definition of displacement current. So you have seen static current, equation of continuity, so that is represented by ID. Sometimes ID, D in capital also people are representing ID, that is D stands for displacement. So displacement current is a correction factor in the Maxwell equation that appears in time varying condition but doesn't describe any movement of charge, though it has associated with magnetic field. So it's a correction factor. Okay, so let us we have to derive this expression. So let us try to derive the expression for displacement current. Derivation. The exam it may be asked for 5 marks of derivation. So in order to derive, let us consider a AC circuit which is connected with a capacitor. The AC circuit is connected to a capacitor. So that's AC circuit which produces voltage, let us say V0 e to the power j omega t. That's the voltage applied. Important thing. Okay. D is the thickness of the capacitor, that is dielectric medium, and let A is the area of the two plates. And D is the separation between the two plates. Okay, so now ID is the displacement current. So IC is the current flowing through the capacitor. Okay, so displacement current in terms of displacement current density can be given by ID is equal to rho T by rho T of T into A. D is the electric field density, where T is the electric field density, then D can be written as epsilon into E. This is 2. Also, electric field E is written as electric field E can be written as E is equal to V by D. Where V is the applied voltage, that is given by V naught to the power j omega t. So combining equation 2, 3 and 4, from equation 2, 3 and 4 we can write D is equal to epsilon by D V naught e to the power j omega t. So call this as equation 5. From equation 1 and 5 we get ID is equal to, that is displacement current, dou by dou t of epsilon by D into V naught e to the power j omega t. Let us differentiate this with respect to t. So therefore ID is equal to j omega t to A divided by D. These are the constants. Okay. So sorry, I just missed that. So while writing, so this equation 1 and 5 we got this combining, you got this expression. On differentiation I'll just show that ID is equal to epsilon by D. Epsilon is a constant, D is a constant. Okay, then V naught is of course a constant. Now e to the power j omega t, differentiation is to the power j omega t. Then you have to differentiate exponential term j omega t, so that j omega t is a constant, differential of t is 1. So therefore I'll write it as j omega, then A is again an area constant. So therefore you will get j omega epsilon A divided by D V naught e to the power j omega t. So this is the expression for displacement current. Expression for displacement current. Next, let us move on to the next topic, that is Maxwell's field equation. In 1831, James Clerk Maxwell formulated 4 basic laws of electricity and magnetism. That is, he has combined Gauss law, Biot-Savart's law, Ampere's circuit law and Faraday's law into 4 fundamental well-known compact mathematical equations. These equations are known as Maxwell equation, famously known as Maxwell equation, which relates electrostatics and electromagnetic unit, electrical quantity in 2 different states, in rest and as well as motion and velocity of light. So for Maxwell equations are given as, so that is in the different form it is given. So therefore I will make a table of that. applicable law based on which law it is formulated. Then Maxwell equation. So again there are different types depending on medium, vacuum, and static field. So all things are combined. Okay, let us say serial number also. First one, there are 4 equations. First is based on Gauss law. It's written del dot D is equal to rho. Dot D is equal to rho. Okay, so electric charge density rho. So then del dot D is equal to 0. Dot D is equal to 0. That's in vacuum. Del dot D is equal to 0. That is in vacuum. Okay. And then for static field, again del dot D is equal to rho only. So that is according to Gauss law. That is according to Gauss law. The second is, that is electric field. Okay. The second one is Gauss law for magnetic field. Gauss law for magnetic field. So second law says del dot B is equal to 0. So this is there is no difference. So for all case it is 0. The third one is based on Faraday's law. Del cross E, that is related to electric field, is equal to minus dou B by dou T, dou by dou T of B, magnetic field. Similarly, in the vacuum, del cross E is equal to minus dou by dou T of B. Similarly, del cross E is equal to 0 for static field, because there is nothing coming out. This is static. The last one is related to Ampere's law. So according to Ampere's law, this is related to magnetic field. Del cross H is equal to J plus dou by dou T of T. So as such, medium and vacuum, there is no change. Del cross H is equal to E of dou T, or del cross H is equal to J. So all this expression, of course, okay. So E, of course, is a known terminology. Electric field intensity, electric field intensity. So H, of course, magnetic field intensity, and J is the electric current density. Okay. current density. Then B is equal to electric flux density. Electric flux density, and B is of course magnetic field density, and rho, of course I told that is electric charge density. Electric charge density. Of course, if you want unit volt per meter, this is ampere per meter. This is again meter square, coulomb per meter square, Weber per meter square, or Tesla. This is again coulomb per meter cube. Okay, so this is what exactly. Of course, for free space, that is vacuum, whatever we are talking about, rho is equal to 0 and J is also equal to 0, mu is equal to 1 and epsilon naught is equal to 1. Okay, so this is what exactly famous Maxwell equation formulated by Maxwell in 1831. Okay, now let us move on to the next step, that is next topic, that is electromagnetic wave. Electromagnetic waves are nothing but waves produced due to mutually perpendicular oscillating electric field and magnetic field perpendicular to the direction of propagation. Very important thing. It is perpendicular to the direction of propagation. They are mutually perpendicular. The electric field propagation, electric field as well as magnetic field, they are perpendicular. Not only that, they are perpendicular to propagation, direction of propagation. So they are mutually perpendicular to each other. So now we are going to derive wave equation. Wave equation for electromagnetic wave in terms of electric field using Maxwell equation. Let's see that, how exactly we can do that. So let us try to derive this. So let us consider the Maxwell equation, that is a curl of electric field we had, that is del cross. Okay, so let's consider the third Maxwell equation. That says what it is given by, let me consider third one, that is del cross E is equal to minus mu naught dou H by dou T. The third one, that is obtained by substituting B is equal to, you have to substitute for B, that is B is equal to, what is that, mu H. Similarly for D also you can substitute epsilon E. So this is required, keep it in mind. For next equation we have to substitute. First let us consider this, taking curl on both sides. Taking curl on both sides. So that is del cross E is equal to minus del cross mu naught dou H by dou T that's equal to mu naught dou by dou t of del cross H. So let us substitute for del cross H from equation 4, fourth Maxwell equation equivalence. So del cross E is equal to minus mu naught dou by dou t of, let us substitute for this, that is epsilon naught dou E by dou t, that is d is substituted with epsilon E, so therefore epsilon naught E. Okay, so this is what exactly, so it's epsilon naught is constant, so therefore take it outside, it will reduce us to mu naught epsilon naught dou square E by dou t square, call this as 1, but the left hand side, whatever you have, that is del cross E. Left hand side we have del cross E. This can be written as del into del dot E minus del square E, that is nothing but del square E, because del dot E is equal to 0 from first Maxwell equation. Del dot E is equal to 0 for free space. Okay, so therefore this is what exactly. So now so call this as 2, substituting 2 in 1, you get minus del square E is equal to minus mu naught epsilon naught dou square E by dou t square, or we can write del square E is equal to mu naught epsilon naught dou square E by dou t square, this is 3. The same way you can start from the fourth Maxwell relation and you can arrive at del square H is equal to mu naught epsilon naught dou square H by dou t square. This is fourth equation. So considering standard wave equation, it says del square psi is equal to 1 by v square dou square psi by dou t square. So comparing, where of course v is the velocity of propagation of wave, so comparing standard wave equation and equation 3 and 4, it's very clear that it's represent wave motion and waves are called electromagnetic waves. So from comparison you get v square is equal to epsilon naught mu naught into epsilon naught, or v is equal to root of 1 by root of mu naught epsilon naught. So of course if you substitute the value of mu naught and epsilon naught, that is mu naught is equal to 4 pi into 10 to the power minus 7 and epsilon naught is equal to 8.854 into 10 to the power minus 12. It is Farad per meter. This is of course Henry per okay. So if you substitute and calculate, we will get V is equal to 2.9979 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. That means which is the velocity of light in light wave. So therefore electromagnetic wave travels in velocity of light. It proves that light is electromagnetic in nature. Thus velocity of electromagnetic free space, velocity of electromagnetic wave in free space is given by 1 by root of mu naught epsilon naught. Okay. So okay, next we have to see the plane wave. Okay, next we will see transverse nature of electromagnetic wave. So you know electromagnetic wave, just few minutes before we have discussed. Electromagnetic wave is nothing but it is produced by mutually perpendicular oscillating electric and magnetic field vectors, which is perpendicular to the direction of propagation of electromagnetic wave. It can be graphically represented as if this is x direction, this is y direction, this is z direction. Electric vector is vibrating like this. Only one wave I am showing for representation. This is the electric vector. Perpendicular to that magnetic vector so this is something like this. My representation may not give exact meaning, but okay, somewhat. Okay, so this what exactly? So this is electric vector, this is magnetic vector. So electromagnetic waves are transverse in nature. Now electromagnetic waves polarization. So we will see how exactly a representation of electromagnetic wave in polarization. There are three types of polarization, namely first one is linear polarization, second one is circular polarization, third one elliptical polarization. Linear polarization of electromagnetic wave, circular polarization of electromagnetic wave, and elliptical polarization of electromagnetic wave. So this classification of polarization is done based on magnetic vector. Okay. So this is x component. So this is Ex component of the electric vector. This is this is y component, y component of the electric vector. So linearly polarized means linear polarization. What exactly linear polarization means? Electromagnetic wave is said to be linearly polarized if the component Ex and Ey must be in phase. They should be in phase, and amplitude may or may not be equal. That may be equal, may not be equal. Let me say E1 and E2 are the amplitude of X component and Y component of the electric vector respectively. Let us say phase difference is equal to 0. Delta is equal to 0. And then the ratio Ex by Ey is equal to E1 by E2. Thus, if you see if you trace the electric vector, the tip of the electric vector will trace a straight line. Then the electromagnetic wave is said to be linearly polarized. Next polarization is circular polarization. So electromagnetic wave is said to be circularly polarized if electric component, X component and Y component, Ex and Ey, must have same amplitude. They should have same amplitude and phase difference is equal to 90. That is, E1 should be equal to E2 and delta is equal to 90 degree. Then the polarization is said to be circularly polarized. So what exactly you observe is E1 is equal to E2 and Ex Ey is equal to E1 by E2. They are equal, so therefore it is equal. So you will get Ex square plus Ey square is equal to E1 square. So if you see, this equation says, if you see the electric vector, if you trace the electric vector tip, it traces a circle. So therefore it's called as circularly polarized. So if you plot, it will be something like this. I hope whatever my drawing is looks like circle. Ex, so Ey, so that's equal to Ex. Okay. Then next polarization is elliptical polarization. In this case, the electric component vectors, that is Ex and Ey, must have unequal amplitude. That's compulsory. That should be unequal. Amplitude must be unequal, and phase difference delta should not be equal to 0. Should not be equal to 0. So E1 and E2 are not equal. Amplitude are not equal. Then you can see, suppose say if delta is not equal to 0, but let us say delta is equal to 95 by 2, then you observe Ex by E1 whole square is equal to Ey by E2. This expression you will get is equal to 1. If you see this expression and if you try to trace the electric vector, you observe the situation is something like this. So this is Ex, Y. So Ex, Ey. It traces tip of the electric vector traces a ellipse. So therefore it's called as elliptically polarized. So with this we have completed Maxwell equation theory part. So we are left with the problem solving that we will do in next videos. So thank you for watching.